Hey guys, what's up? And welcome to another video. It is October 24th. By the time you're seeing this, I think. So, one more week till Halloween, y'all. I'm so excited about it. I am so excited about it. Do I know what I'm gonna do for Halloween? No. Do I know what next week's video is gonna be? No. But I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. So, anyways, today we're going to be reading more Reddit stories because you guys really liked that video and somebody said that they wanted to see more. So that's what I'm going to do. So this one is from Jeremy Lecker. Jeremy Lecker. Interesting username. I don't believe in ghosts or anything of that nature, but there's one thing that happened to me that I can't explain. I was probably 20, still living with my parents. I don't remember what I was doing that night, but I got home really late. I unlocked my front door and entered my house. It was pitch black. All of the lights were off, which was normal. My mom's the type of person that is a light sleeper and would sometimes wait for me. As soon as I entered the dark room, I hear her say, "Oh, you were out late." I replied, "Yeah, sorry. You know you don't have to stay up late, you know." And then I turned on the light. No one was there. What do you mean no one was there? I looked all downstairs for my mom and nothing. We went upstairs to their bedroom and there she was sleeping. She woke up and said, "You're just getting in?" I still don't know what to make of this. That is terrifying, and also, like, sometimes in your head, you think that you're talking to somebody, but you're not. So you think things, but like, I don't know. I don't know. That's just weird. Like this person replied, they said, "How tired were you? How often did she stay up to wait for you?" Sometimes the brain will run through a normal conversation as if the other person was there and not realize that they aren't even there. I've had this happen with a lot of dropped phone calls with family. I knew how they would react or say things, so I would be talking, the call drops randomly while talking and not notice it was dropped a minute or two later in the conversation I had. It's weird, but people will not remember cooking dinner, yet have a plate in front of them all made. The brain is just weird and shuts off or will fill in the blanks one's used to. So that does make sense, but I don't know. I don't know. What do you think? What do you think? I think that's scary. So this next one is a longer one. It was posted by Frugalcade. So this one says, in 1983, a team of deeply pious, I don't know how to say that word, scientists conducted a radical experiment in an undisclosed facility. The scientists had theorized that a human without access to senses or ways to perceive stimuli would be able to perceive the presence of God. They believed that senses clouded our awareness of eternity, and without them, a human could establish contact with God by thought. An elderly man who claimed to have nothing left to live for was the only test subject to volunteer. To purge him of all his senses, scientists performed a couple of operations in which every sensory nerve connected to the brain was surgically severed. Although the test subject retained full muscular function, he could not see, hear, taste, smell, or feel, with no possible way to communicate with or even sense the outside world. He was all alone with his thoughts. I don't like that. Like, I don't like experiments. Like, I like how I like want to study psychology. I don't like experiments. Like, I don't like experiments like that. Like, what do you mean? Like, it's giving Animal Farm. Like, I don't like it. I really don't like it. So, anyways, scientists motorized him as he spoke aloud about his state of mind. in jumbled, slurred sentences that he couldn't even hear. After 4 days, the man claimed to be hearing hushed, unintelligible voices in his head. Assuming it was an onset of psychosis, the scientists paid little attention to the man's concerns. Either A, psychosis, which is probably what happened, or B, um, you cannot speak to God like that. So the only thing that's talking to that dude would have to be something demonic. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. 2 days later, the man cried that he could hear his dead wife speaking with him, and even more, he could communicate back. The scientists were intrigued, but not convinced until the subject started naming dead relatives of the scientist. He repeated personal information to the scientists that only their dead spouses and parents would have known. At this point, a sizable portion of scientists left the study. Oh, I want to throw up. I don't like that. After a week of conversing, I can't say that word, conversing with the deceased through his thoughts, the subject became distressed, saying the voices were overwhelming. In every waking moment, his consciousness was bombarded by hundreds of voices and refused to leave him alone. He frequently threw himself against the wall, trying to elicit pain response. He begged for the scientist for sedatives, so he had escaped the voices by sleeping. This tactic worked for 3 days until he started having severe night terrors. The subject repeatedly said that he could see and hear deceased in his dreams. I hate that. I really hate that. Okay. Only a day later, the subject began to scream and claw at his non-functional eyes, hoping to sense something of the physical world. The hysterical subject now said the voices of the dead were deafening and hostile, speaking of hell and the end of the world. At one point, he yelled, "No heaven, no forgiveness," for 5 hours straight. He continuously begged to be killed, but the scientists were convinced that he was close to establishing contact with God. Like I said, that's not a way to contact God, bro. Either A, God contacts you, or B, the afterlife, whatever happens. Like, or like pick up a Bible. Like, that's how you contact God. You can't do that. Humans can't do that. Sorry, but no. Anyways, let me read the rest. After another day, the subject could no longer form coherent sentences. Seemingly mad, he started to bite off chunks of flesh from his arm. The scientists rushed into the test chamber and restrained him to the table so he could not kill himself. After a few hours of being tied down, the subject halted his struggles and screaming. He stared blankly at the ceiling as teardrops silently streaked across his face. For 2 weeks, the subject had been manually rehydrated due to the constant crying. Eventually, he turned his head and, despite his blindness, made focused eye contact with the scientist for the first time in the study. He whispered, I have, he whispered, I have spoken with God, and he has abandoned us. And his vital signs stopped. There was no apparent cause of death. That is scary. That is scary. I don't like that. I really don't. I really don't. I'm glad that I'm reading this at um 1 o'clock in the afternoon, because I would not want to read this before bed. If you're watching this before bed, I am very sorry. And then they edited it and said, "Yay, I won the thread. Glad everyone seems to have enjoyed it as much as I did." Okay, cool. Anyways, So people liked that story, I guess. I didn't. That's scary. Um Anyways, this is the last one cuz after that, like I planned this video and like after that I read that story like a week ago and then I was like, okay, one more and then we're done because that's terrifying, like actually. If you want me to keep doing this I can, but like that's scary. So, anyways, um so this is by low underscore donut and this was posted 12 years ago. This one is real. My family never talks about it because it freaks them out to even think about. When my aunt was just married to her husband, she started seeing something menacing whenever she was alone. At first, she ignored it, but it would always stare at her. It wasn't really a blur or a quick flash of the paranormal, but it was bright as day, a man with red eyes. I'm not really sure about the details because nobody wanted to tell me since I was so young. I remember a show I used to watch, Beyond Belief, did a piece about a man with red eyes, and it ended up being true. I only watched the end, but I sure don't want to watch the full episode. To this day, my aunt could never be alone. She is fine now, though, and her husband is understanding and always with her. What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean, a man with red eyes? So it only happened when she was married with her husband? I'm so confused. I'm so confused. So, like, she's like, can never be alone where she sees this. No, I don't like that. That's scary. That's terrifying. Why would you? Why? Why? Girl, if that was happening to me, I'd go to a church. I'd get holy water, I'd get a priest, I'd get exorcist, I'd be all that. Be exorcised, holy water, prayed over, sage my house, all of the above. Absolutely not. Anyway, guys, I know this video is a little bit shorter, but those are all the ones that I wanted to read because after that I was like, anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, give it a big old thumbs up. Comment down below anything you want, and I'll see you all in my next video. Don't forget to stay bananas. Bye-bye.